Wake up, world. This is what could happen. And I'm talking about a possibility of a virus outbreak. And you hear about these viruses all the time. Think about it. The more we are stripping on lands, the more we are being exposed to viruses and diseases. And the fact is, our immune system, we have built up a tolerance over the years. A lot of doctors now don't even want to prescribe you antibiotics anymore. And if they have to, it's a very, very strong antibiotic. And a lot of times it does not even work. And then they have to prescribe you even a stronger dose. So for these people who turns around and they buy these plastics, they got the masks, they got all this other stuff, they're going to shut themselves off. Now, it is written history, recorded history, where they tell them to stay indoors, to keep themselves away from it. But you know what happens? Someone, somehow, gets exposed to a virus. And then they bring it in a closed-in quarters. And then they spread it among one another. So there you go right there. Now, let's say it does happen. And we're all just locked into our houses trying to stay away from everybody. But then the power goes out. So then you've got all this food that's gone bad. It's in your freezers or whatever that you was counting on to last you for a while. Then all at once your water goes. So then there's your sanitation. So here you are exposed to bacteria and germs from the sanitation, from the using the toilet. So then you're going to have to figure out how to get rid of that stuff. So that simply means you're either going to use up whatever water you do have on hand, whether you filled up the bathtub or whatever it is, if you did, think ahead of time, or you're going to have to fix you a slop bucket to piss and shit in, and you're going to have to dig a hole in your backyard, and you're going to have to dump it there and put dirt over it. And then every time you do it, you're going to have to do it. So then every time you go outside, you are taking a chance of being exposed to this virus or disease or whatever's outbreak. Also, who's going to be affected first? Of course, everybody says the old and the young. Old people, mature people, their bodies has wore down. All their immune systems has broke down. They're not able to fight off sickness and diseases like they used to. Young people are not as strong. They're not developed. They're still developing. They're still facing up the smallpox and chicken pox or whatever, or mumps or whatever it is. So they still have to face all of these diseases here and the vaccines. So then their immune systems, of course, is not mature and developed enough to help fight it off. Then you're looking at the people here who are sick. You're looking at people with diabetes. You're looking at people who has cancer. You're looking at people who maybe has a kidney disease or a liver disease or a heart disease or whatever it is. Their immune system is compromised already, so they are prone to be affected by the disease. So there you go. There's three different scenarios right there. There is always going to be that small percentage or the third. If you read the history books, always it was a third that died. But you know what? If a disease happens, does not mean it's going to be that away. If a person has the immune gene, if they're immune to the disease, then they are not going to get sick. But we don't know who's going to be immune and who is not going to be immune. So then you're looking at that possibility. Also, the viruses usually happen in 3 stages. 3 stages simply means this. It will mutate. You have your first stage. So say they create a vaccine and they find a vaccine and they cure the first stage. Then all at once, the second stage comes in. So the other vaccine is no longer good because the virus has mutated, is fighting back. So then you have to create another vaccine to fight the second mutation. So once this second mutation is taken care of and gotten rid of, then the third stage comes in, the third mutation. And it could be the worst one of the 3. So then he had to create a vaccine for that. Another problem is people who runs to the doctors every time they sneeze. We have gotten in that habit of going to the doctor. If we don't feel good, we do this. He or she or whatever gives you all this medications and stuff. Now more and more doctors are saying, okay, you got a cold, go take some Tylenols, Great Planet Fluids, and go to bed. Where in the past it was give you antibiotics, give you cough syrup, give you this, give you that. They have tightened their reins down on this stuff. But our immune system no longer wants to fight itself because we have been pumping our bodies for years full of antibiotics from the doctors. So that's the reason they don't want to give you that. So now you're sitting there setting yourself up for another disease. You see these over in these countries here where these people are burning fields off over in these third world countries and everything. They're burning acres and acres of land off just to raise a few cattle because that is their livelihood. So they're destroying a lot of the forest, and now they're having to set aside. They're fighting to set these parks aside, these natures aside, because they know if they don't do this, man will most likely destroy most of the land just for the simple fact of trying to survive. So Mother Nature will come back on us eventually because it's going to say, you know what, I've had enough. We're going to reduce this population. Population used to reduce itself. We used to be kept in check through diseases and sickness and war. But as we developed and we found vaccines and treatments and stuff for diseases and things, our life expectancy began to last longer. So here you are. What are you going to do? The thing is, what you don't realize is all around you is medicine. All around you is plants. People has forgotten how to even know how to live off the land, how to even know what is a medical plant. People don't even know what a Joe Pye plant is. People don't even know what a bone set plant is. People don't even know the benefits of a dandelion. They don't even have enough sense to know that this plant, the plantain plant that grows wild everywhere, is an antibacterial plant. They have no idea that making a tea out of this could actually maybe help fight against whatever disease that is outbreaking there. So we have set ourselves up as a society. The third world countries are becoming less and less used to their old lifestyle as we go in and say, here's some pots and pans. Here. Why do you want to make baskets when you can buy this mass-produced basket from Hong Kong and save you all this time? So they're losing their ways. They're losing their knowledge as they're getting away from the land and more and more. So we are setting ourselves up as a society for a virus outbreak if it does happen. If and when and could and may. And who will make it, who will not make it, who will survive, who will live, we don't know. Because they've got to create a vaccine. So these scientists and doctors are not going to sit out there and look around them and say, oh, I know that plant right there. That plant does this. Let me pull out my herb books. Let me pull out my nature medical books here and study all this and see what we might be able to harvest off the land and create a vaccine for. No, they're going to go into their labs. They're going to synthesize this stuff. They're going to sit there and try to produce this thing. And the problem is all the medicines that we have, and I have to take medicines myself as well, but I also depend on my herbs to keep me going. The medicines, if you have seen on TV, the possible of this side effects and possible of that side. The thing is, for you to take that medicine, you got 10 side effects that could happen to you. So we are destroying our own selves by breaking our own immune system down by having to take the medications and set ourselves up for side effects. We are breaking our own immune system down by going and buying all these products here, and it is their job to get us to buy the products. It is their job to put stuff in it and make it last longer. It is their job to make the cows bigger and fatter, to make the food last longer, make it look better, put a dye in it, put this in it, or put that in it. And we are putting all this in our body. I am just as guilty as the next person. I will go down to BK or MC or whatever and get me something. I went to TB and got me some tacos. I am just as guilty as the next person. But the thing is that separating me from some of these other people was I have sat down and made the effort to learn about the plants around me. I am using a salve that I made myself for pain. And I have a broken toe. And I've been rubbing it on that broken toe to ease the pain. I rub it on the bottom of my feet to ease the pain and rub it behind my ears. I made my own pain relief salve instead of depending on going to the store and buying all these pills that are going to eat my stomach lining up. So, thing is that virus outbreak can hit anybody, everybody. It don't matter how safe you are, how much you're prepared. It doesn't matter if you take a backpack and you get way up in the mountains away from everybody. if this virus mutates, it can go from humans to animals or from animals to humans. So you can be exposed to it no matter where you are at, whether it's in the air or transferred by skin touch or transferred by blood or food or water or whatever it is. The fact is, if we don't stop destroying the lands and start replanting, if we don't start learning about what is around us and respecting nature and only taking what we need and leaving the rest, if we do not stop putting all this stuff in these foods, we are going to destroy ourselves. If we do not stop feeding our kids constantly, kids are on the increase on obesity. Constantly, humans are on the increase in obesity. I am overweight. There's no way around it. I have had some physical issues that prevented me from doing a lot of things. I don't eat huge amounts all the time. I try to eat fruit and vegetables, but the fact is, you can make one trip to a restaurant and you've done consumed 3,000 calories before you know it, and our bodies are not burning that amount of calories anymore. We are not physically burning. We are getting in our vehicles. We're driving down the road where we're going. We're going home. We're getting in our chairs. We're hitting the remote. We're watching the TV. We are setting ourselves up for a virus outbreak. And when it does happen, just like anything else, people are going to go crazy. People are going to shoot one another. People are going to lock themselves up in the doors. They're not even going to help the person laying in the street dying because they don't want the disease. The hospitals is going to be overrun. You're going to see the trucks out there picking up dead bodies. You're going to smell the death in the air. You're going to see families and friends that you love being hauled off because they are sick. Hauled off to the hospitals, to the camps, to whatever. There's going to be mass graves. It is going to be bad if the virus outbreak ever does happen. And a simple reason is if we do not start respecting the land, we do not stop destroying what we have, and we start thinking more outside the box and thinking about taking care of ourselves better and getting away from some of this stuff. You know, I used to eat TV dinners. I thought I was doing good by eating TV dinners. I thought I was eating a balanced meal, a portion meal. Then I got reading and realized what I was doing. I was killing myself. I wasn't losing no weight. I couldn't understand why I wasn't dropping but maybe a half a pound a month. I was asking my doctor, what's wrong? Why am I losing only half a pound a month? Well, that's good. Okay. But then I started reading all that stuff. I said, whoa, I don't eat TV dinners anymore. I love Hot Pockets. Oh, I just love them. Don't eat Hot Pockets anymore. I still do the restaurant some, but I make my own food most of the time at home. You know, but I don't eat frozen food anymore. I just don't do it. I don't eat a lot of the stuff that's loaded with salt. It's just how it is. Things have to change. You have to change. You have to decide, am I going to learn outside the box? What are we going to do? I'll tell you what's going to happen. People, the government, whatever, they're going to lock themselves away in their bunkers or whatever it is when it starts to break out. And the people who has the money to back themselves up to build their barricades or whatever it is will lock themselves away while the outside world is struggling. And that's just how it's going to be. So wake up, people. Wake up, world. If we do not start respecting the land, if we do not start changing our ways of life, we are heading to something that may just happen. And I don't want to see my friends and family die from a disease that could have been avoided if we hadn't kept destroying everything around us. So from the World of Joan, Life Prepper here. Be safe, be happy. Bless you all.